Welcome back to Decide to Succeed. I am your host, Deidra Shanell, and today's leader is Ari Mac. She is a spiritual coach. She has a podcast on iHeart Radio app titled Spiritual Coaching with Ari Mac, as well as a brand of candles focusing on positive thinking, meditations to help you achieve your goals. So with no further ado, please welcome Ari Mac. Costa Rica. But Puerto Rico's next.
Okay,
Welcome. This is Ari Mac, and this is our leader today. I'm so excited that you are here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come on over to Decide to Succeed, you know.
Well, you asked me, so I had to.
And Ari is a fellow Texan. So, you know, we already got that little, Texas link. I'm so glad you're here. So, you are spiritual coach, you've got the iHeart Radio podcast, you're making candles, you're coaching people, you do a lot.
Yeah.
You do a lot. Astrologist, you were just talking to me about a few things, so we're going to cover all that. I'm really excited to get into it. So let's start with the whole spiritual thing. I want to know, I always like to ask people that are in tune with spirituality, like what does that really mean for you as a spiritual person, a spiritual coach? Like what does that mean for you?
Balance, because we have so many things going on in the world, outwardly, inwardly, that if you can find that balance, that's where your spirituality can grow.
Yeah.
You know, because you can deal. Everything won't become so overwhelming.
Yes. And I think that's where anxiety kicks in, when things get overwhelming and you don't know how to handle it.
Big time. That's why we do affirmations. That's why we positive thoughts, and we sit and breathe, because we can let the outside overwhelm our insides, and then we make poor choices.
Exactly. And those poor choices lead to poor circumstances, and et cetera, et cetera. Now, you said positive thinking. A lot of people, we always hear, think positive, think positive. It's such a general phrase that you hear all the time, but I think a lot of us don't truly understand the power of positive thinking.
I agree. Well, it's like a muscle. I always use cooking as a good example.
Yeah.
You don't start off knowing how to make an egg. I'm sorry, it sounds easy, and we eat them all the time.
Right.
But when you actually have to cook it, it's temperature, it's ingredients, it's the pot, it's all that good stuff. And the same thing with positive thinking. You have to ask yourself, am I just saying the words, or do I believe the words? That's the key.
That is the key. That belief.
Yeah.
That belief. Yeah. Is so true. I definitely wholeheartedly agree with that, because I used to always say, oh, I believe in myself. I believe in myself. I believe in myself. And I remember I did a lean test. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No,
a lean test. And I did this lean test, and I was like, I believe in myself. And I leaned backwards, meaning that energy does not, your body energetically does not believe that. Subconsciously does not believe that. And I was like, whoa, it shook me like it's something else. And it was actually like a turning point in my self-development.
You really heard. You heard yourself. Like,
I heard my subconscious mind, that truth. And it was like that belief. So once I started doing my self-development, doing my work,
you got into the nitty-and-gritty.
Got those ingredients and know how to cook an egg now, you know. So now when I say I believe in myself, that is true. And it wasn't just something that I was saying in the conscious, you know.
Because that's the resonation. That's when it resonates.
Yes.
You know, that's why we developed the candles. Because I was giving away affirmations, like they come to me like da-da-da. But when you add a fragrance and a scent to it, it resonates with more than one of your senses.
Yeah.
And it just pops that energy. Like, I feel I'm going to succeed. I feel like things are going to be okay. So and it like resonates.
It's like an alignment.
Yes.
Like that scent aligns with that affirmation, aligns with the feeling, the emotions, and therefore that can become your reality.
Yes.
What's that? Ooh.
Yes.
That's really great.
Yes.
That's really great.
Yeah. And it took me years to develop it. It took me at least 10 years of just sitting and playing with my clients and developing fragrances and developing colors, and finally realizing that they needed that something to hold on to when you're going through those trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's different to talk to somebody, but when you actually can hold something in your hand and go, yes, I am going to be okay, and you smell it and it resonates, after a while, that becomes your reality.
Yeah.
And then you can move through it.
Exactly, because everything has energy. Colors have energy. Words have energy. Everything is energy. So whenever you intentionally put those specific That is some powerful stuff, Ari.
Yeah.
I didn't, I knew your candles. I was like, oh, these are super cute candles, and visually, like, oh, these are super cute and colorful. Yeah. But didn't know really.
Well, that's my task right now. Is that I have been a little shy because I've been working in the Los Angeles area. Thank God for the City of Angels. But with the COVID, it's had me redefine myself and pivot myself. Yeah. So now we're actually going to be putting that out there because I know people need it.
Yes.
And I know they want it.
Yes.
And I'm trying to make it affordable. I'm trying to make it where it's simple, easy, and like just a little bit every day would make a huge difference. Yeah. So that's what I'm working on. We're getting ready to launch a lot of campaigns. You got to come on the show. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because you like doing the same thing. We just got to keep popping it up. Raise that frequency.
We all have something to offer the people. I think we all have that passion, that service.
Absolutely.
Because, when you give, that's healing, and we need that more than anything right now. It's healing. Like going through this pandemic has been crazy. Speaking of that, and being a spiritual coach, what do you say to people that may still be dealing with some kind of mental struggles?
We all are first.
Coming through the pandemic.
Everybody was. Because it literally, and I saw Saturn go into Aquarius. It was like 1 week after my birthday.
Oh, the astrology is kicking in right here.
It was 1 week after my birthday, March 8th, and we had a big party, and then after that, everything shut down. Yeah. Everything shut down. And I was partying that whole beginning of March, so I was like, what? Because I wasn't working. I wasn't working. I was literally playing around, okay? Goodness. And I knew it was happening because discipline was coming. Saturn is the taskmaster, is the disciplinary. Aquarius is humanity. So we knew something was going to happen, but we didn't know that was going to happen. And so we're all being forced now to deal with our inners.
Yes.
And some inners
are a little ugly. Blessing in disguise.
It can be for some. It can be more difficult for others. Yeah. If you've been programmed with negativity, let's just say you've been around other people.
A lot of us have.
Who haven't been very positive and who say they're positive. Like I used to see people go to church every day and do the most craziest.
Who you telling? Oh my God.
And I would go, but you were.
That doesn't match.
And then they go, that's the way it is. And I go, it's shocking. Literally, so I had to go, wait, hold up, okay, let me go back and rethink, and I realized that was their choice.
Right.
Even though I didn't agree with it, and that's not what they said.
Do you think it's also how they're programmed, especially I had a whole conversation about the church and everything, because the church can program.
It's got beauty and it's got its other side.
Yeah, and it's the people, not the religion itself.
I think it's choice. It's just human choices. And but with the pandemic, I just would always say, first of all, reach for something that makes you feel good. You can grow plants, you can volunteer. Just reach out to new people, especially young people. I feel like young people now are going through so much because they're inheriting all this energy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they're not getting all the traditional stuff that once upon was like a rite of passage. Right. It's not happening anymore. Right. So, reach out to your fellow colleagues, people that have been reaching out to you. Just be open to hear everybody else's story, and I think you'd be surprised.
Yes, that is the key thing you just said, being open to hear everyone else's story, because that's what we're doing here on Decide to Succeed, where we have leaders and we have brave women that are willing and courageous to share their story, because it's a vulnerable place to share your story when you've been through some things, and sharing is healing to me, and that's why we're here. That's why Decide to Succeed exists, is to share, because sharing is healing again. And when you do share, other people can see and hopefully be open-minded to see and understand that we're all one. We all go through something. We all have our struggles, our things, and we should all be able to be here to connect and to support each other. So that is like the whole purpose of why we're here, Decide to Succeed. Yes.
I gotta throw some astrology in. I have to say this.
Please.
Jupiter is a big ass planet. It's the planet of expansion, growth. It's the goodies. It gives you the goodies. Neptune, it moves like Neptune. It's like imagination, spirituality. Right. Well, those two are both in Pisces. Okay, and it only happens every 166 years or something like that. Is
this happening now?
It's happening right now, and it'll be going on for the rest of the year.
Expansion, you said?
Expansion, it's about your dreams coming true. It's about our creativity. It's about our opening up to our spirituality. What? And really harnessing that. Because really, your dreams right now could happen, but you have to put forth the effort.
You have to happen it.
I'm telling you right now, with that Pisces energy, you're going to pick up on what people may not think, or people may say that they don't believe, and that's okay. Keep making your baby steps. You'd be very surprised at how you make this huge transformation, but you have to keep moving forward. Yes. And that's the one thing I'm going to emphasize to everybody is spend some time meditating, spend some time really checking in with self. Yes. You know, and maybe if you can't, then find a group, listen to her show, check out my podcast. There's over 200 episodes.
Are you reading my notes? That's what's next. Meditation.
There you go.
See, that's why you're here. I told you. But yes, you mentioned meditation and connecting with your inner self, and I think that's such a huge part of self-development.
Absolutely.
And really moving into your power and your purpose in this lifetime. So what is your take on meditation? Why do you think it's important? How does it affect you?
I do it every day.
Yeah.
I do it all day. I mean, I'll sit in a car and sit and meditate for a few minutes because you need to get that grounding. You need to get that center back. And breathing, guys, is meditation.
Oh, breathing is powerful.
Just breathe. Really open that belly, open those lungs, and just take in the air. Because I think we shallow breathe when we're stressing.
Oh, yeah.
And go.
We even hold our breath sometimes. I used to be a big breath holder.
See?
Before I became conscious and aware of my breath.
Okay, so that meditation in breathing. Because you don't have to do a whole bunch of things. Just listen to something positive. I love the calm commercials. And we have this thing in our house. Every time the calm commercial comes on, we just stop. Wherever we are, we just stop. Okay?
What's the calm commercial?
It's calm. It's when they say calm, and for 30 seconds they just play.
What kind of TV program
well,
do you have?
I don't watch a lot of TV.
I don't have that.
Okay.
I don't have that.
So if you see it, if you guys are out there see it, it's
Oh my
where
God.
for 30 seconds or 15 seconds they just play like a waterfall or
Oh.
something like that, and it's for an app. I'm assuming it's an app, and it's calm, and it literally is calming.
love
So
that.
I don't get any money
So
for
you're just
endorsing him, but I love the concept to just stop and just breathe, and that's meditative.
Yeah.
That's it. You don't have to do anything else, and you'll be surprised how that would change your blood, your mind, and for a minute maybe help you make some better choices.
Yes.
1 second.
I find also that meditating helped me bring clarity, and then also if I'm trying to figure out something like a solution to something or issue or whatever, it helps me figure that answer out.
Yeah.
Figure out what to do to help solve that thing.
The first thing I do with all my clients is we meditate because we need to get centered and get on the same page, and just that quiet 5 minutes sets us up for they can be real about this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm asking for. And anybody can do it, guys. You don't have to be a professional.
Yeah.
They have a lot of great ideas anywhere, but the most important thing is use meditation on a daily basis. I feel like if we do, we can make this world better.
Oh yes, absolutely. And there's no wrong way to meditate. But there's no wrong way. It's just a matter of doing it.
Just calming yourself, taking that moment.
That's one of those baby steps you're talking about.
Just keep it simple.
2 minutes, 5 minutes every day.
That's it. You'd be surprised how you can make a better choice and draw better energy to yourself.
Yes.
Because when you're upset, don't you realize everything's going ahead? Everything. And it's and this happening, and that happening. But when you finally calm down, all of a sudden those things dissipate.
Yes. Energy. Girl, I'm telling you in my notes, Ari. She read my notes.
I've been doing it a long time.
Cheated.
I've been doing it a while.
She cheated.
A little bit of time.
But energy is something that I always talk about. I'm always like energy. And I know the term is used loosely.
But
good energy, good vibes. It's great. But really, let's get to a deeper understanding of that, because energy is everything. We are all energy. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. Thoughts, words, everything is energy. So, for me, helping someone to understand that, and understand that when your words go out, your words have energy that's attracting situations and things coming to you. So if you're like, oh, I'm gonna have a bad day, and then that energy of that, you saying I have a bad day, makes you stomp your toe, and then that crap, and now I'm stuck in traffic and I'm late for my meeting or whatever, and things are gonna keep adding because you're keep feeding that energy of that thing, which is gonna manifest more of that negative whatever it is. So
and you can reverse it though.
You can reverse it. So it's how you choose. It's what you decide. Decide to succeed, guys. Decide to have those positive thoughts. Brain plug. Yeah, it's so important. So making that decision that's where it starts.
And it starts right here in the heart. Because you could think a lot, but this always rules that. Your heart will always, we are such emotional creatures.
Oh yeah.
And even we try to say we're biological. Haven't you ever thought I'm gonna do something and end up doing the complete opposite? Because that's what your heart wanted. That's what your heart wanted. Your head may have said, I need to stay on budget and I can't go past $5 and walk out the store with $30 worth of stuff. Because your heart wanted it.
That reminds me of, is it Selena Gomez? The heart wants what it wants.
Pretty much. And that's the way it rules.
The heart's what it wants.
And this time we're in is so magical because your heart could tell you things that you maybe forgotten about. You may not even consider you could get it anymore. Because I find as you get older, you may have made sacrifices and choices. And so you're like, oh, I can't go back to school, or I can't go do that. Why not?
Right, why?
Why not?
I feel like society has kind of programmed us to believe that there's like limitations. Like when you reach a certain age, oh, I'm too old, I can't do this anymore. It's like, no, well,
I want to find
who
the
told
book.
you that?
The book.
What? Who authoritative?
Where did this come from?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because this book is not
like,
real.
Oh, I'm old. I can't. I'm like, oh, what? Oh, you're 32. Like what?
But in your mind, you've already given up.
You've given that thought repetitively, so now it's become your belief.
Yes.
And now that's what your reality is. It's like, no, but it doesn't have to be.
Not at all. But you got to get in there and find out why. Yes. Why am I thinking this way? And it could be something someone told you. Susie Orman, who's one of my favorite wealth coaches of all time. She talked about when she was a little girl, her father's restaurant burned down. But he ran into the restaurant and grabbed the cash register with his hands and brought it out, burnt his hands to the crisp. She took on money means more than life.
Wow.
And it's in her story. And it's one of those most powerful things I ever heard her say. And it took her decades to get past that money was something that was a part of life, but it didn't mean more than life. But she didn't come from money. She had to work through all of that muckety muck to get to where she is. And now she's one of the, I think, best coaches in the world when it comes to finances and education. I mean, she gives free information about just resetting your mind about how you view wealth. I mean, some people think they need a big old house and all, but do you?
Right. It's all your perception of what you think it is.
Yeah. I mean, to me, a house with 27 rooms, who's going to clean 27 bedrooms? Right. I'm not. I'd rather have some cash to go vacation.
The one that
and go hang out. You know what I'm saying? So it's just your perception.
Yes, your perception. It's your perception is your reality.
You know, that's a big thing you got to work on is, what is my dialogue?
What's the why? That's a huge thing for me. What's the why? Because like once you are aware of what the why is, then you can tackle it. Then you can break it down. Then you can rebuild it back up.
And it may take some time.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight because that why could have been crusted over, like Susie's story from the time she was 9. She worked at all these crappy jobs thinking that's what she was supposed to do. When she finally clicked, she made millions. But she didn't have to do it the hard way. Right. She did the smart way.
And some people think that, oh, I gotta struggle, I gotta hustle, and I'm like, I've completely like eliminated those words and those phrases out of my vocabulary. Like, oh, remember how we used to say, oh, the hustle is real, the struggle is real, I'm gonna hustle, I'm gonna grind it out.
About it, I do believe.
And it's like, oh yeah, hustle. And I love that song too. I do work out, get a good pump in there in the gym.
But it's subconsciously.
But it's like I'm aware now, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's just a song. But knowing and like the words that I choose to use now, it's like I know and understand that. Like, no, you don't have to struggle to succeed. No. You don't have to hustle, hard, work hard, struggle. No. Ease, flow, allowing.
I've had clients use the affirmations and the aromatherapy that we've created that have changed their lives. They didn't think they were going to have kids. They have several. They didn't think, one lady had endometriosis and the doctors told her it was done. I said, no, do the work on self. And she went through a whole journey and won.
Wow.
And the doctors are like, how did that happen? Because they don't know what your body has.
Exactly.
You know what's inside
powerful.
of you. And the strongest muscle you have is your mind. So you master that, you mastered your world. That's why meditation is so important, because you have to do it every day, just like that muscle. And eventually you see the results, but you have to put the time in.
You have to put the time, you have to put the effort in. You have to dedicate yourself to you.
Every day. Yes, you do, because a lot of times we don't. We think we do. If you go buy something or put on an outfit or look cute, but do you really stop to feel and check in? How am I really doing today? You know, am I okay? And sometimes little things creep up on you that you don't think are big.
Oh yeah.
You know, family has a big impact on you, because they can say things and do things that you may or may not like, but they can have a lasting effect on you. So it's really important you get to know, where are my triggers, is what they call now. So that you don't let it overwhelm you and stifle your life.
It's a little scary to approach those things that maybe we may be sensitive to, and it takes a brave moment to say, okay, let me just tackle this, because sometimes we don't want to get emotional, we don't want to feel or know that the person that I love said something that hurt me, and you know, but like really tackling that, it takes.
That's why the meditation helps, because you can go back to, okay, why am I really feeling that? And it could be because maybe they've been saying it for a while. Or it could be that you need to like tune it out, because that's just kind of how they are. But either way, you got to make that peace within yourself before you approach the other person, because it's not the other person's fault if that's what they do.
Right. That's one thing that I learned, Ari, is that what someone else's perception is or beliefs is, it has nothing to do with me. And I feel like once I have an understanding that this person has their thing, I don't take what they say or do personally, or like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You don't absorb it.
Affect me.
Yeah, you don't start going, oh, well, this is what they think of me, so that's what I am. It's like, no. Right. They have an opinion. Everybody does.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's the worst or the best. Take it with a grain of salt. When you criticize somebody, if you do it in a loving way, because we all need to make adjustments, it doesn't have to hurt them. They could just hear like, okay, maybe I do need to wear a little less makeup, or maybe I do need to tone down the lipstick, because we need to know. I mean, it's good to have that kind of loving relationship, but it's got to come from a place of trust.
Yeah.
That's that love.
Yes.
It's that LOVE. So you know when somebody loves you and when somebody's being not so good.
Yeah,
because you can feel it. And that's what I want people to do, is just feel it. If you just take a moment and give yourself permission, even if nobody else in the room can feel it, you got to own that, because you're picking up on something. I call it GPS, God Protective Services.
Ha ha, love it.
Because like you can feel it and then we choose to ignore it.
Yeah.
But you knew.
Exactly. And I think that's not trusting your instincts and your intuition. It's like once you, like you said, you do your meditation, you get in tune with yourself, then you're allowing yourself to trust your instincts. And you're not, when that red flag comes up, you're like, oh, okay, that's who this person is.
Once upon a time, we were cave dwellers, so we all had to huddle together for survival. So you didn't really want to go against the grain, because you may not get fed, you may not have no shelter. But now you can actually say, you know, even if everybody thinks this is cool, there's something a little bit off. You know, it doesn't have to be a war, doesn't have to escalate into a battle, but it does tell you emotionally something about it is not safe for you, and you need to own that.
Yes.
You know, and that's hard at first, because everybody's like, oh, they're so great.
And again, it's a muscle. You gotta work it. Yeah. Oh my God.
But you don't have to keep going toward the nonsense.
Yeah.
But you need to own, I don't feel right, let me sit down and take those moments.
And
I say go to the bathroom.
You have to.
I say go to the bathroom. Nobody can stop you from going to the bathroom. It's a natural thing, and everybody needs to do it, and take that moment to breathe, then re-engage.
I do that. And you know, that reminds me a lot about what I kind of share with people too, is protect your energy. So if someone is coming at you with some negative energy, they want to tell you this, that, and the other, I will stop someone in their tracks. It's like, it's okay, I'll rather not hear that, and let them know. And if they don't, like, you can walk away. You know, you protect your energy. It's important, because one thing can get in and you don't realize it, and it's planted a seed, and now that seed's starting to grow, and now you're all kinds of crazy things are happening. You don't know what it is, and then finally you have to go and do the work and get back to the fact that, oh, this person said that. That's why I don't went off on this rabbit hole of negativity or whatever it is.
We don't know that until we hit it. So that's why it's important to keep that meditation going on a daily day, so that you can start pinpointing those areas that maybe you're a little bit more sensitive. You can make better choices.
Yes.
Because you're not going toward the flame. You're moving into a solid place that's comfortable and loving life.
Yes. Now, to switch gears a little bit, I definitely want to get into some astrology.
Okay.
I've been learning a little bit myself, but you know, you're like, you got the information.
Been doing it for a minute.
You're doing it for a minute. But I just wanted to ask, like, some people don't really believe, quote unquote, in astrology, or think it's woo-woo or whatever. That's fine. But for someone who may be interested in it, how do you explain what astrology is, and what the benefits of understanding your astrological chart?
Think of it as a dinner table, right? It's like an X-ray.
We all like to eat.
Yeah. So when you were born, right, you had a mother, a father, sister, brother, and everybody's placement. But you decided to change those placements and put different energy there. So instead of the father being at the head of the table, you put the mom or the uncle. And that's where yours starts. So it's like an X-ray. And it just tells you where you decide to place that energy. Right? And you can take that energy from your chart and start feeling a little bit better about why you feel a certain way about certain things. And it just, for me, it just gives you a little guideline, and it's based on the stars, so it's not fictional. It is not made up. It's factual. You can go to any place and they will show you stars in the heaven. And I mean, the Hippocratic Oath, Hippocrates was an astrologer. Okay, so even the medical professionals know it has something relevant to do with our bodies. So it is a fact. And I feel like if people just took the time, even looking at their Mercury, like how they think, and then look at the house of where it places, it tells you how you think and what style you do it in. That will be such, like, dyslexia, learning challenges. I really think it's because they came out thinking differently from the jump. And I'm just happy education is opening up more with that, because once upon a time, if you didn't fit in,
oh my God, you said a whole, like, book full of stuff. I'm serious. Like, starting with the energy, or like some people say, oh, I don't believe in it. It's nothing you believe in. Like, you don't believe in gravity, do you? But it still is. Yeah. It still is. But it's just, it's energy. Like the planets or stars or whatever was aligned a specific way, and they all have specific energy, and you were born into that energy, so you house that energy within you.
Totally.
So it's like understanding that energy, understanding, like you said, how you think, because a lot of times, like you said, going back, I was in chapter 1. I was told I had dyslexia, but because I knew I thought different from everybody else, and it was just a matter of, I was born into a different energy. My mind thinks a different way, and I'm a very creative person. So like some people may like comprehend something one way, and I comprehended it a completely different way. And then I grew up thinking like, oh, my mind's not like everybody else's. Something's wrong with me.
Which is not true.
It's not true.
You're just different.
Yes.
And if we could take those differences, I think they have to be different so that the world can continue to grow.
Yes.
And that's where the challenge is try to make it work without destroying somebody else's spirit. You know, and that's the balancing act. And unfortunately, people get really personal about, I like the way it is. And that's fine, but it ain't going to always be that way.
Right.
I totally respect tradition.
Yeah.
I got nothing but love for it. But it has to be progressive because it is going to change.
Yes.
We are going to get older. The world is changing. And you need to make those progressive choices because they're going to be made one way with or without you.
Yeah.
So.
And another thing you said that really touched on or a hit for me is that when you said that like understanding how you think, because before I used to articulate certain things a certain way until I started understanding astrological, you know, the signs and all of that, and so it just brought clarity on me, so I was more confident as a person. So for me it brought confidence.
I started studying astrology because I thought my brother was trying to kill me. He was being Aries.
Wait, hold up now. This boy does.
I swear, we were 11 months apart, and
he
would just pull me around and drag me, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to play with you. I just don't.
This is not playing.
Right. And he would just be so happy, and I'm like, I'm miserable. So I thought he was trying to kill me. So I took the astrology and literally the old school books. I'm talking where you have to lay everything out manually. And I realized he had a lot of Aries in his chart. He is a sun sign Aries. He's passed away. God love you of the heavens.
Okay.
Yeah. But once I started breaking that down, I realized he needed to be in action. So once I started working with him, the world was our oyster. We were like the baddest little kids on the block because I knew he needed to be action and I needed to do the planning.
Right.
And then because I'm a Pisces, he's an Aries, but I have a lot of Aries in my chart, so that's where we conjunct. We came together, and once you really start understanding your chart, oh my goodness, your mind is blown. I mean, even in my chart, when I looked at it, Aries rising and a Pisces sun do not go together. But guess what I created? Candles, liquid and fire coming together.
Wow.
Mind blowing. I didn't do that on purpose. That just, and I was like, wow. Because if you don't learn to use your squares, because there are challenges, and it's supposed to be that way. Everything ain't supposed to be gravy all the time. But if you learn to use those challenges, they actually make you stronger. But you have to understand, you came down to learn that lesson. That's the one thing you didn't get, so you start all over. So I think charts are so important. It just can give you so much insight if you're with the right astrologer. But just start with your Mercury. How do I think and what house is it in? That's the style you're going to do it in.
I feel like it also helps to communicate with people. Like when you know a little bit about, you know, their chart, then when they're communicating a certain way, you understand. And then that way make better business, you know, partnerships, love relationships, friendships, whatever.
We have a retro coming up. Mercury is the closest planet outside of Sun, Moon, and stars, right? It rules communications. It rules Virgo and Gemini. We have a retrograde coming up starting on May 10th through June 3rd. So
for those who don't understand what retrograde means, please explain.
It's not that the planet is going backwards in theory, but it's not flowing with the Earth's gravitational pull. So it's, if you look up and you're, it's not, if the satellites are going to be a little bit off, communication is going to be a little wacky. Anything dealing with electronics, I would just go ahead and know that it may be affected. You know,
pen and paper. So yes, Mercury is going to be in retrograde. Communications are going to be off, and just be aware of that.
And be practical. Be practical. Just use some basic common sense.
I do want to touch a little bit on setting goals. I know we were talking a little bit on the little camera break about like finances and setting goals and having that intention. opposed to waiting to the last minute when things are in chaos, can't pay your rent, all those things. So setting goals and thinking positively towards setting goals. What is your take on that?
2 things. Number 1, for 1 week, just take all the receipts, and I know we do everything electronically, but take all your receipts and put them in one spot, and at the end of the week, really tally up what you spent and how you spent. Because what I find, people think they spend one way, but they really spend another way.
Yes.
Okay, so when you actually tally, you can be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
Because we have FO accounts, yes, and I'll say fudge accounts because we're on the air. But you need an FO account so you can go splurge and do something, because you need to do that. So that whole, like, I just pay rent and I pay car note. What about food? What about accessories? What about entertainment? These things are a part of life. You're going to do it anyway.
Right.
So you might as well be realistic and not put yourself in debt.
Yeah, and have like a conscious, practical.
Second, where do you want to see yourself financially? This is a big question.
That's a big question.
Because it's not about time, it's about your money. So then you can know where to put your time.
Yes.
Once you figure out what kind of money you want to make.
Right. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely some awareness to check into. And once you're aware, it's like you can make better choices, make better decisions. You can decide to succeed in your finances.
There you go. But you got to be practical. And those 2 techniques I just said will definitely give you a realistic picture, and it's just you by yourself. You don't have to share that with anybody.
Exactly. Just taking responsibility. Truly.
Yeah.
What it is.
And you'll be surprised how you spend.
Yeah.
You think you're all practical. You may be going to Starbucks like every day. And Starbucks is like not cheap, and you end up paying $60-$70, and you're like, why am I short? Well, you know what I mean? And maybe you need that, so put that in the budget. Put it in the budget. Be real, and then you'll start attracting the money.
Yeah.
Because you'll want to be able to go to Starbucks or do whatever you want to do and not feel restricted, because that's what I find people get angry because they think, I can't go to, and things are going to go up. See, this is what I also tell people. Things are going to continue to go up. So what we paid 10 years ago or when you were a child, that's never going to happen again.
I know.
Okay? And that's because we also make more money. We have more resources. I mean, we have lights. We have cameras. We have communications.
Yeah.
So these all things come from commerce.
Continue to grow. Inflation forever.
Don't think of it as being tortured or limited. Think of it as the opportunity to take your money and let it work for you and take you to the next level.
And that's also a positive thinking note. Not looking at it as something that's hindering you, but that is an opportunity. So before we go, please let us know where we can hear your podcast, where we can follow you, get in contact with you.
Check my website out, candlesbyari.com. We do affirmation aromatherapy candles. There's affirmations on every single candle that I've designed. We also have the show that airs, we go live on k4hd.com every Thursday at 2 o'clock, Pacific Standard Time. But all our episodes are hosted by the iHeart. So we have over 250 episodes up. This is my year, so you're going to be seeing a lot more of me. And you get to come on the show. I'm going to make her come on the show. So
you don't have to make me. I'm here.
So she will be, you'll be hearing her on my podcast in the future, for sure.
That's awesome.
Okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. And guys, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you're still watching by this time, you might as well leave a comment. Tell us how this information has helped you. Give us a thumbs up and share. Share this information. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Rewatch it again. Take your notes. And welcome to the Succeeder Society.